right, this is the first episode of the forecast, and I have a list of things I'm gonna talk about. Number one, the first one is I am wearing shoes in my bed, and I'll admit that's really gross, but the reason I'm doing that it's simply for um, it's an expression, right? So how can I, in this video, express to you that I don't give a fuck? I thought about multiple ways I could do that, and the most obvious one to me was wearing my shoes in bed. When you see somebody wearing shoes in their bed, they don't give a fuck. And the reason why the reason why I don't give a the reason why I'm doing this is to show that I don't give a fuck is what I don't care about is um, the judgment I've felt for being when I create. And what I mean by that is, actually, I'm not going to get into that, but basically, the way that I grew up, I felt very judged for anything I wanted to do, and I'll get into that eventually. Um, but yeah, for now, I think this is kind of a funny way to show that I don't give a fuck. So, and in the name of full transparency, I literally just washed these shoes. They were pretty dirty, so I just washed them. So I don't want to be a liar, but I'm still wearing shoes in bed, and I think like that symbolism in itself is what I'm trying to convey. But that I hope that makes sense. It makes sense to me. So yeah, hopefully it makes sense to you. So I'm making this, and the goal of making this podcast, I guess it's a podcast. I don't know what else to call it, but the reason why I'm making this is I'm trying to be more honest and authentic, and I think, um, especially as we enter like an AI world, the only thing we have as humans is just our authenticity, because we can do things that machines can't do, which is like die, for example. So when we experience real human emotions through life, and when we write songs or create art, there's a finiteness to it that AI can pretend to do, but we'll know always at the end of the day that AI can't can't do what we can do, which is die. So there's a finite finality of our lives, and I think that is beautiful. And so, um, oh shit, I don't even know where I was going with this, but I'm gonna keep going on my list. My second thing of this list is who am I talking to? Well, right now, not a lot of people are paying attention to me. I have like 360 YouTube subscribers, um, and I don't think anyone really cares, which is okay. It's not a big deal. I haven't really put a whole lot of um, like real effort into like working on that, but I'm changing that. So, who am I talking to right now? I think I'm just literally talking to a two versions of myself, a past version of myself, the younger version of myself that could use advice from me now. Then I'm also talking to the oh, that's my timer. I'm also talking to a future version of myself that is going to be watching this and hopefully seeing how much I've grown since starting this thing. So, yeah, that's who I'm talking to. I'm going to give you like a have water. I don't have water. Okay, whatever. I want to talk about my next 3 to 6 months, what that kind of looks like for me. I think it's just fun to document, and eventually, if people do care about what I'm doing, this will be kind of cool for them. The people who do care and see this first, maybe like three people will see that. Uh-oh. Oh, jeez. Okay, whatever. I was monitoring myself, but it disconnected. First episode, technical difficulties, whatever. Okay, so the next 3 to 6 months, this is what I'm working on. It's January 13th right now. I am going to Europe. I'm taking my sweet lady to Europe um, in February. And right now, what I do for work is I work remote. And eventually, I'll tell you guys what I do for work full time, but not today. Um, and I work remote, and she just graduated school, so we're going to Europe to celebrate. And since I work remote, we're just gonna live out there for the next like 8 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever it is. And because of that, um, I have a lot of content and music I want to get done before I leave. So this January has been insane. I have like a week and a half, 2 weeks left before I'm leaving. Um, and Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I'm doing. So my goal this year is to release 2 songs a month. So I'm literally writing and recording all that stuff that will be released over the next 3 months, these next 2 weeks, and I'm doing content for it and everything. But on top of that, I want to do some more things that feel authentic to me, like things that get me really excited, which is just like I love taking like a small idea and turning it into something big, and which is why I have an alien head here, and I have a picture of Jack Harlow there. Um, I'll talk about those a little bit. I'm not gonna go too hard because I can ramble. I'm really good at talking, so let me just make sure I'm not gonna go too long. Okay, so that alien head, what is that? What is it? What is that all about? So I'm gonna link to the video in the description. Carter Vale. He makes these hilarious videos where he like it's just like funny songs, and he basically just like they're just goofy songs. And one of them it's called Aliens Ain't Shit, and he basically just calls out the aliens. The lyrics are like, "Aliens ain't shit. I could probably beat them up. If an alien came at me, no, I would not give a fuck." And it says like that's because aliens don't know karate. No karate's made on Earth. I also don't know karate, but I bet that I could learn. And so I saw that. I think it came out like 6 months ago, and I had this hilarious idea. It's like, so I don't know if you know this, when you're watching this, but when like old radio signals that are like that happen, right? So like an old baseball game from the 40s, whatever that is, right? Things that have been radio signaled across Earth, those signals don't just get sent to your car, they get sent all over. So they spread out into space forever. So if you took a spaceship and you flew into deep space and parked it, you could listen to old radio broadcasts from like the 40s. And that's just because they're going out there forever. So I had this idea. I was like, well, what if Carter Vale's video, that radio transmission, got sent into space and the aliens picked it up and they weren't happy about it, right? And I thought like, okay, but like Carter Vale's not the first person to make fun of aliens. So how can and I started thinking it's more. I'm like, oh, what if there was a mistranslation? So the way I thought of this idea is my dad, okay, my dad went to Venezuela when he was like 20 and he didn't really know Spanish. He was still learning, and he asked some guy in the store something. He said, I don't know, I don't speak Spanish, but he asked some guy like where the eggs were, um, and eggs in Spanish is huevos, and how he said it, he basically said like, I want your eggs or whatever. And the guy, I thought he was talking about his testicles, and the guy like tried to fight him, and I was like, oh, that was like, and that's like a childhood memory for me. So like things get lost in translation. It happens. So um, what if the aliens got his transmission and there was a mistranslation? And instead of aliens ain't shit, they heard aliens can't shit. And you're probably like, what the fuck? Like, what do you mean aliens can't shit? Whenever I see like aliens on like Ancient Aliens or whatever, or like the internet or whatever, wherever I see aliens, they're always like green and smooth. They have no muscle definition. And I thought it'd be hilarious. I'm like, well, what if aliens don't have buttholes, right? And they actually can't shit. And the way they get rid of their waste is they excrete their shit through their pores. So like basically every pore is like a little butthole, and they smell really bad. So the the aliens hearing aliens ain't shit and they hear aliens can't shit, they are super offended because earthlings are a lower life form, and they're like, damn, like these fucking lower life forms are talking shit on us. Like that's the last straw. Like if other aliens were to say stuff like whatever, it's annoying, but Earthlings, and it's like perfect timing too, because all that drone stuff that's going on in New Jersey. So I think it's like it'd be pretty funny. So I wrote a song and it's called Aliens Can't Shit, and basically it's a part two to Carter's song, and it's like basically it's explaining to Carter that he like really pissed these aliens off and that he needs to learn karate because they're gonna come whoop his ass. So I think it's hilarious. I love stuff like that. I love when you can like see something and it inspires something in you, and like that to me just feels like really like it's so funny. And I feel like like comedy's cool, or good stories is like when you say yes and you just keep adding things on top of it, and that's kind of what I did here. And also um, Saturday Night Live is a bad example because I personally don't really think Saturday Night Live is funny. um, if you do, that's no hate, I just don't think it's funny. But what they do, the comedy that they rely on a lot of times is like they take something that's like normal and they like do the most extreme version of it, and then it's funny. And so I think when aliens misunderstand a radio signal and they want to invade Earth over it because they're offended is pretty hilarious. So that's the one idea. That's called Aliens Can't Shit. If some by some miracle somebody else watches this besides me before the song releases in like 15 days, if that, I'll share it with you. If you in the comments are like, I want to hear that song, I'll share it with you. But I don't think anyone's going to hear this. And then the Jack Harlow poster is another one of those things where I had an idea and it just like sparked it in my head, and I like took it and ran with it. So I'll explain that one too. I'll do this one quicker, but basically, I was dating a girl, and we were driving from Houston to Austin, Texas. It's about 2.5 hour drive. I had just flown there from California, and we were going to stay in Austin for like the weekend, whatever. So I was really tired. She was driving, and Jack Harlow had just dropped an album. This is like a year. This is like almost 2 years ago now. He just dropped an album, and as I was falling asleep, she had just started playing his album. I woke up an hour and a half later. She was still playing his album, and I'm like, "Damn! Like you're really obsessed with this guy's music, or you're so obsessed with this guy." And she's like, "Yeah, like this album's insane. It's so good." And so I'm like sitting there for the next 30 minutes as I'm waking up. I'm like, just thinking of a world like, oh, like imagine you're dating a girl, and she's dating you, but she's truly obsessed with like a celebrity, like Jack Harlow, for example. Because I don't know if you guys have seen those videos where like this is like for a while you'd see videos of like Drake and Jack Harlow, and girls are throwing their bras on stage or whatever. And I've seen videos where people are like, "Oh, the Jack Harlow effect," and girls are crying, like they just love him. He's a good-looking guy, no doubt about that. So it's funny. So I thought like, okay, what if? Okay, here's the idea. What if there's a guy dating a girl, and his girlfriend is obsessed with Jack Harlow, and he is like a total just cuck, and he won't break up with her. He wants her love. So basically, I wrote a song called "Like Jack," and it's the concept is, it's this guy that like wants to um, win his girlfriend's affection, so he becomes like Jack Harlow. And so what I'm going to do in the video, which is going to be hilarious, is I'm going to get a wig. I'm going to get a fake Jack Harlow beard going. Try to make myself look like Jack Harlow much as I can. And in the video, it'll be like this. It'll be a cool thing. You'll see. I don't want to explain the whole thing, but part of the video is I'm going to go in public and I'm going to see if I can get people to think I'm Jack Harlow and sign autographs. I think that's so funny if I could trick people into thinking that. So, and the video will end where it's like the guy's like, "She's my girl now," and it'll on screen it'll be like, "Ultimate cock," and it'll be funny. I think it's gonna be funny. I I wrote we wrote and recorded the song. We started filming stuff, and that'll come out in February. And I think it should be pretty funny. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't filmed all the footage yet, but just from what I have so far, like it's pretty funny. So, yeah, that's like those are like the two like I think they have potential to go viral. If they don't go viral, it's not gonna hurt my like honestly. if this was a year ago and I did all this work for these songs and they didn't go viral, I'd be crushed. But what I've realized is more than anything, you just gotta do creative things. I honestly have this thing where like I had this Jack Harlow idea a year and a half ago. I had this huge idea where I just had this massive idea for it, and I was unable to do it massively, and then I was just like, I'm not doing it. I screw it, fuck it, threw it on the back burner, and then I feel like I'm maturing as a creative, and I'm recognizing that you do what you can, and you just do whatever you can at your level right now. You just do it, and you be creative, and what you're doing is you're just working your creative muscles. So that's what I'm gonna do with these two songs. Um, Aliens Ain't Shit had a whole debacle. I'm not even gonna talk. I mean, if it blows up, I'll make another video and we'll talk just about that. But um, yeah, anyways, those things I'm just gonna be really proud to finish those and put those out there because I think when I was a kid, I loved Lonely Island, like Dick in the Box, Jizz in My Pants, like just kind of parody stuff. It's hilarious. Um, I definitely see myself as like a quote unquote serious artist. Like I want to make like serious music, but also like I think it's important not to take yourself too seriously. So this is something I'm gonna do with like these fun songs, and I'll have more that'll come out. But these are just the first two that I'm releasing this year. So I'm just talking about those right now. So yeah, the next 3 to 6 months, I'm releasing those two in the next those two songs in the next couple months, and then I'm also releasing this song called "Ain't My First Time," and I'm fired up about that song. Um, I'm you know if you're a creative, you know when you're creating something and you're kind of like mimicking other people. And I don't think there's anything wrong with like taking inspiration from other people, but like um when you're basically like biting other people's stuff, I think that's bad. And I think but let me say this is I think that's normal when you're first starting and you're starting to pick up drawing, singing, writing music, whatever your creative profession is, you're inspired by other people. And I think when you're early on, you just copy other people because that's what you've seen and you like. So you just copy it, and it's normal. And then at some point, you get to the stage where you're like you develop your own taste. And yes, you're inspired by these people, but you're no longer just copying those people. You have some seasoning from them in what you do, but now it's your own unique thing. Goodness gracious. Um, and I think the way my life has been these last like 3 years is I've known I want to do music seriously since like 2020, but from 2020 till 2025, just end of 2024, I've been doing it kind of passively. And when you do stuff passively, you don't make the strides that you're supposed to make. At least I think that I would imagine myself making if you're not fully dedicated. So I feel like in that time I've made music, but it's been inspired by other people, and I've been biting other people. And I feel like "Ain't My First Time" was the first song I made, which I wrote it last year. That I felt like, oh shit, like this isn't anybody else. This is me. And I feel like it's me turning over a new leaf where I'm like, holy shit, like I'm making music that I finally like feel like is more true to me. Um, and I say that to say also is that like I plan to make multiple types of music. Like I have a whole vision for like what I want to do, but that'll come with time, and we'll talk more about that. Yeah, what else am I doing in the next 36 months? I'm launching Four Summers. So my artist name is Scott Four Summers, and then I'm launching a sunglasses brand called Four Summers. And I wear sunglasses in every video I make. It's part of my artisticness, um, and there's a bunch of reasons why I wear these glasses in every video. I'll tell you one right now is um, I have visual snow. If you don't know that, if you follow me, you don't know that, then you're crazy. I don't know where have you been. You haven't seen any of my short form content. But I have visual snow, means that I see static everywhere. Look it up online. It's starting to become more well known. But if my eyes are right now, I see static everywhere. If I had a broken arm, you could see that I have a broken arm. Or if I didn't have a foot, you'd be like, oh shit, that guy doesn't have a foot. Like his life's kind of hard. You can't see what I see. So if I wear these in every video, my thought is over time as I develop an audience, people will ask people who know, they'll be like, well, why does this guy always wear glasses? And then they'll be like, oh yeah, because he has visual snow. Well, he needs to wear the glasses. No, he doesn't need to wear the glasses, but he wears them as like a visual representation of his visual snow. So I started to do that. I had that. That was like my thought early on, and then it evolved into like, holy shit, like visual. I made a song with the Visual Snow Initiative, which is like an organization that raises awareness and funds research for visual snow. I did a song called My World with them, and I did a bunch of promo. We went viral a little bit on Instagram. It was really cool. We got like 1 million views on like one video, and then we had a bunch of other videos get like some pretty good engagement. And we raised a whopping $13 for streams, which is nothing. It's still something. It's still something to be proud of. We got the word out there. It's great. But I had this vision of like going mega viral and really bringing in like a lot of money for the organization. So I thought about that for a while. I was like, fuck, man, like I really wanted to raise lots of money. How can I help this organization raise more money? Um, and what I arrived at is sunglasses. Um, little little sneak peek of what I do for work right now is I help businesses sell products online. And I was like, well, dude, this is what I do for work. Like, why don't I just do this myself? So that's why I chose to launch a sunglasses brand. It's going to be called Four Summers. It's one summer for every season of the year. When I think of summer, I think of happiness, warmth, days at the beach, all all good stuff. Whereas winter can be seen as cold, depressing, alone, shorter days. It sucks. It's like the sun went down today at like 5 p.m. It sucks, and that to me is like depressing. So, four seasons: spring, summer, fall, winter, and four summers is an encouragement of having a summer mindset year round. So summer, 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 4 years through the whole year, no matter what we face in life, good vibes, happiness. So yeah, and the reason why like I love this organization so much is for 2.5 years I was going to eye doctors. I went to I think what 3 or 4 eye doctors. It wasn't until the last one that I got actually diagnosed with visual snow. Because I would go to eye doctors, they would dilate my eyes, and they would do inspections. I'd have to like look at the things and see stuff, and like or like the eye chart, or whatever, and they'd say your eyes are normal. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? My eyes are not normal. Like something's wrong. And like visual snow has so much that goes on with it. Like it's hard to explain everything. It's like, oh, my vision feels blah, and like blah, my vision's this. I have static. I see like these things, and they don't really know what you're talking about. At least like I developed this 6 years ago. So at least 6 years ago, they didn't know what you're talking about. So I literally was in my room all the time, sad, crying, thinking that like fuck man, I have an undiagnosed brain tumor or like a brain bleed and I'm gonna die soon. My life's over. And that's really depressing. And I personally have struggled with depression like my whole life, but that was like a new low for me. And it was bad. It was a hard 2.5 years. Visual snow is not just visual, it has a lot of like internal symptoms like feeling disconnected from yourself, depression, anxiety, all this stuff. It was fucking hard, dude. And I found a YouTube video that was talking about tinnitus, which is like ringing in your ear, and its relationship to visual snow. I forget. I don't even know how I got to this video, but I think I was looking up like static vision. And here's the thing, guys, is like I probably could have found this sooner, but I've done this thing where I go on WebMD and I like search my symptoms for like anything, like oh your hand hurts, and then you find out like they say that your hand's gonna fall off, you have hand cancer or something like that. So I was doing my best to avoid searching stuff online, but eventually I was like, fuck it. So I went online, found a YouTube video, and his name was Matthew Renz, I think it was. And his video, he's like associated with the Visual Snow Initiative. And in his video, their website was in the description. I clicked it, took me to the website, and literally, like, I swear, I kid you not, I had the biggest relief ever because on their website, it had the diagnosis criteria of like what visual snow is, These are the symptoms. This is the, and it was like, whole everything I was experiencing was there. So I feel like I owe, like, I was able to get like my life back, kind of, you know. And so like, I literally, I had gone to the eye doctors. Eventually found that website, and I was like, holy shit, this is what I have. I don't even need to go back to the doctor anymore. I know what's going on. So I didn't, because I didn't have health insurance, but then I got health insurance, and then I went back, um, and I basically walked in with the um, the diagnosis criteria. I told the doctor, I was like, look, I've done this so many times that you're gonna want to dilate my eyes, and you're gonna test me and blah blah blah. I'm like, we're not doing that. Just look at this website. This is what I have. And he was a really sick doctor. He was like a younger dude, and he saw the criteria, and he's like, yeah, I've heard of visual snow. He took me through some tests. He's like, what do you see? He handed me this like, let me make sure this is still playing really quick. Hold on. I think it's still playing. We'll see. Um, he handed me this little thing. I had to like look inside of it, and it like was like a white background, and I can see my visual snow really clear. And basically, we did some tests, and I'm like, he's like, yeah, dude, you have visual snow. I'm like, okay, great. Like, what's my cure, dude? Like, I'm ready to be cured from this stuff. Fix me, please. It's like 3 years. I'm like 3 years in by this point. And he's like, oh, dude, there's nothing you can do about visual snow. I'm like, really? There's nothing you can do? And that hurt, man. Like, you know how hard it is to like be struggling for 2.5 years, and like you get some relief because you're like, fuck yeah, I found what was wrong with me. And then you get health insurance, you're going to the doctor, you're thinking like, hell yeah, like I'm gonna get this cure. And he told me like, yeah, dude, there's nothing you can do. Like you could be a part of like preliminary studies. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So after that 2.5 years, like I was still experiencing, or that 3 years basically, I was still experiencing like my visual snow, but it was easier in the sense that like I was no longer felt like I was gonna die. So that made things a lot easier, and it's just like learning to cope. And once you kind of learn to cope, like that's uh that's great. And like it's like, dude, that's like life lessons for me. I feel like I grew so much as like a person because um dude, my depression would consume me as a kid, just as a little like an elementary sixth grader, dude. Be consumed by depression and anxiety. I'd have like in high school, I'd have like fluttering heart races, and I had to like leave class like, oh, like my heart is just freaking out, man. Like, and it sucks, man. Like that shit sucks, and that's real. And I don't like. I'm not saying that so you feel bad for me. I think I'm saying this because I'm talking to the old version of myself and the future version of myself. The old version of myself would love to hear this if I was a different person, whatever. But I grew a lot from all that shit, and like the visual snow stuff was part of that. And I think if you can find the good in your struggles, like that's just really cool. But anyway, so Four Summers is launching. I'm starting to post. I'm gonna start posting content like crazy, and starting next week. And then January 20th, which is the summer solstice of 2025, I'm gonna host a big launch party. I have this. I have 20 pairs of glasses that look like these in the hands of artists, and they're supposed to be painting them. And I want to auction those to basically raise money for the Visual Snow Initiative. I've so far gotten 2 pairs back. I've gotten 3 pairs back. I don't think I'm going to display one of them. I just don't think it aligns with the vision. But I've gotten 2 pairs back, so I should get about 16 more glasses back from people, and I want to auction those and raise money for the Visual Snow Initiative. And I want to have those displayed on like gold mannequins across like the whole setup. And on top of that, I'm releasing an EP. It's going to be called One Summer. See what I did there? So it's got 4 summers. 4 summers is the brand. One summer, it's the first event. And what I'll do is over like this will be one summer. Next year I'll release 2 summers. Then I'll release 3 summers, and then eventually it'll be 4 summers. And when 4 summers comes out, the EP, we're going fucking crazy. We're doing some crazy shit. But yeah, so this one is going to be one summer for EP. I'll perform it live there. And like leading up to the event, like I hired these people that are helping me raise money for this event, sponsors. If we can raise enough money, I want to make it snow in LA. It's pretty cool, right? We'll like do some promo leading up to the events, and it'll be like I'll have like a I don't even know yet, like a dump truck full of snow. Show up to like a park and dump a bunch of snow. Have people sledding. I'll be performing the EP, selling some sunglasses. I think it's so fucking sick. But um, yeah, so guys, I am a psycho in the sense that like I wake up and I work until right now it's 11 p.m. right now, and I'm gonna wake up tomorrow at like 7:45, 8 o'clock, which isn't that bad, right? I'm still gonna get 8 hours of sleep. But this morning I woke up at 6:30 in the morning, and it's now midnight. It's gonna be midnight by the time I'm done with this. So my point is, I fucking love getting after shit like this. Like I love getting after it, and I've been putting a lot of time into like what I've been doing for people, other people's companies. And I want to just do this for myself now. It's like I want to like bring my creative vision to life. So music and sunglasses, we're gonna go crazy. It's gonna be wild. Four Summers is gonna start as a sunglasses brand, but it's gonna be much bigger than that. And I won't spoil that thing, but I won't spoil too much of that, like my vision for it. But think events, think more music. Think like when you're a kid and you're like playing pretend, and like you built like a fort in your living room with all like the pillows or whatever, or like the couch cushions, and you just felt like exhilarated because you just created this thing, and it's like, holy shit, I'm crawling through my fort, and it just feels like so exciting. I want to create that experience for like grown-ups basically, like obviously not couch cushions, but my just like bringing people back into like that childhoodness of like nothing else matters but just what you're doing in front of you, and it like where you're at, it just feels so like refreshing and like just freeing. I don't know, something like that. But we'll talk more about that. Um, uh, oh, and then I think this is interesting too. Is in part of being like authentic, like I think there's like authentic in the sense of like I'm gonna tell you everything about me, every insecurity I've ever had, um, my whole life story, everything, and blah 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 blah. I think that is authentic, but I also think it is authentic to be honest and say, I'm going to tell you guys a lot about myself. I'm going to share as much as I can and want to, but there's going to be certain things about my life I want just for me. And I don't think that's bad. I think when like obviously like I'm making myself a public figure, um, no one knows yet, right? Like we're early on, but I think it is good to save some things just for you, you know? So I will be doing that where I'm going to be very authentic and honest as possible, but there are some things I'm just going to leave out just because I think that's like respecting like my privacy too. Um, yeah, because like I look at some people like Justin Bieber, for example, is like everybody knows everything about him, and that's too much. He deserves some privacy. And so I want to just create some space for me to have some privacy. So uh, I'm just trying to be authentic right now and say, yeah, I'm going to share a lot of stuff with you, but with you guys, but I'm not going to share everything. So yeah, guys, I'm shifting my focus in life from being helping other people to doing what I want to do creatively, and I really believe that long term, like I really want to help a lot of people, and I want to bring a lot of people together that are like me. Um, so yeah, I'm fired up. I'm fired up. This is the end of episode one of the forecast. I'm gonna do this more often. I especially want to do this. I'll probably do this like once a week when I'm in Europe, and just talk to you guys about what I'm doing out there, and maybe I'll do like a little travel vlog or something. That that to me doesn't feel very like creatively inspiring. Like some people really get after the creative vlog, like the creative travel vlogs, and I actually enjoy watching that stuff, but I don't think I could do it. So I'm just gonna try it, and if I'm enjoying it, as long as it doesn't distract from like this stuff, I'll do it. But um, yeah, thank you for watching. Um, Past me, I hope you liked that. Future me, I hope you liked that. And man, this can be a crazy year for me as far as like actually being creative, man, because this is like what I've wanted to do my whole life. So I'm pretty fired up about it, and see you next time.